Welcome back to Askewed Reviews, and today we are doing another fan request, and it is for the 1994 action drama sci-fi thriller No Escape. Here is your trivia question for today. What rock metal band that started in the late 90s used some dialogue from this film as the beginning of one of their songs? The answer will be at the end of this video. So this film starts off in 2022 at a maximum security penitentiary. It's here where we meet our main character, Robbins, who is played by Ray Liotta. You see, Robbins did some terrible, horrible things, but he is under the belief that it was his commanding officer that was to blame. And he shot that commanding officer, and this is why he is here. The warden of this facility, who definitely seems dirty, is planning on breaking Robbins and having him do whatever he wants. Robbins doesn't agree with this and decides to give a show of force. Now, because of this, they decide to transfer him from the prison to Absalom, which is a island prison where there are no guards because no one escapes. Almost immediately after Robbins makes his way onto the island, he is captured by one of the prisoner tribes and brought to their leader, Merrick, played by Stuart Wilson. Robbins, who immediately realizes these are not good people, escapes, and eventually runs into another tribe of prisoners. This time it is led by Father, played by Lance Henriksen. This time around, it does appear that Robbins does make some friends within the tribe, but his main goal is to find a way off the island. And of course, to make matters worse, Merrick and the outsiders have decided to wage war on the other tribe. So, will Robbins decide to join and fight in this war, or will he figure out a way off the island by himself? Martin Campbell is the director for this film. The film itself is loosely based off of the book The Penal Colony by Richard Hurley. The entire movie is filmed in North Queensland, Australia. Ray Liotta agreed to be in the film as he had always wanted to be a hero in an action movie. In fact, most of his career he had played primarily psychopaths and villains. Another interesting fact is the movie takes place in 2022, and unfortunately that's also the year that Liotta passed away. Lance Henriksen, who appears as Father, is another actor that primarily played villains and psychopaths, so he was excited to be a hero in this movie. Ernie Hudson, who plays Hawkins in the movie, was actually just excited about getting away from civilization. Due to the incidents that happened during the filming of The Crow with Brandon Lee's death, he just wanted to be as far out in the middle of nowhere as possible. Did you happen to notice that there is not a single female character in the entire film? Now, this movie actually used about 400 extras, and most of these extras were actually backpackers from local hostels. All of those rats that were crawling all over Ray Liotta were actually crawling all over him, but they were all lab rats. This movie actually does a pretty good job of foreshadowing with a few things. For instance, when Robbins throws Merrick into the water is obviously a reference towards the death at the end of the film. Another really clever one that you may or may not have noticed is at one point King asks Robbins if he believes in God. Robbins says there's definitely something up there. It sure as hell isn't God. And then we get to see a satellite that's up in the air. This is probably alluding to the fact that King is actually the spy. And two more things that I feel just deserve a shout out for this movie. One is their form of torture. I'm so confused by it, but I think it's something that would work. And second, the gun. This gun is interesting because at first I thought it was just, okay, it's kind of futuristic. No, it apparently is a rocket launcher of some sort, which apparently can't kill someone that's in the middle of the blast. Oh, and if you can't get enough of this film, they actually did make a video game for both the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So when it comes to the movie No Escape, I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't feel it was an amazing movie, but it was a fun action flick. And I did feel like from time to time there were a couple things, very small things that I found confusing, but I still liked it. So I'm going to give this film a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, what rock metal band that started in the late 90s used some dialogue from this film as the beginning of one of their songs? So the band Godsmack has a song called Immune, where at the very beginning of it, you can actually hear some of the audio of one of the warden's speeches. I hope you like this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there is a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.